Hey guys, what's up, how's it going? My name is Robin. Welcome back once again to the channel for another video today. In today's video, we're going to be doing a deep dive inside my stock portfolio for February. It's the start of the month, so we're going to be tackling this. Now, I originally posted this video, well, actually recorded this video, yesterday for Friday. So some of the stuff I take is kind of during the day from Friday, and it's probably you guys are going to be watching this video around Saturday or sometime. So just so you guys kind of know about that. But in today's video, I'll be doing a deep dive inside my portfolio so you guys can see all my stocks, you can see all my holdings. I'll show you guys the all-time return for my holdings, and then we're going to focus on the dividends, and then I'm actually going to focus on dividend growth inside this portfolio, inside this video for my portfolio. So it's going to be a couple different topics we're going to cover. It's a bit of a longer video than normal because we kind of do a bigger, deeper dive than normal, but hopefully you guys get some benefit from that. So if you guys enjoyed the video and you guys want to see more videos like this, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. The other thing I want to mention really quick is Blossom Social. We finally got the portfolio refresh to work again. So if you guys don't know, Blossom Social is a app that I use to actually show you guys my portfolio, and where you guys can actually see things like my stocks, all my holdings. You guys can see all the trades I make. So we finally got the portfolio refresh to work. So now whenever I make a trade on my Wealth Simple Trade account, it should get posted on there automatically, and you guys can see all the trades I make. So for like the last month or so it wasn't working, but we finally got it working again. So hopefully everything's going to be good with that. So if I ever buy a stock or if I ever buy something, you guys will be notified right away of when I make that purchase. And if you guys want to sign up for Blossom Social and support the channel, there is a link in the description of this video. Alright, let's jump inside the portfolio and let's see how our stocks have been doing for the past couple weeks. Alright guys, what's up? How's it going? We're back to the portfolio section of the video. So we're going to be doing a deep dive inside the portfolio. I'm going to show you guys kind of like a monthly wrap up and kind of show you guys what's been going on for this month. So we'll start with the portfolios. I'll show you guys my portfolios and Wealth Simple Trade, and then we'll jump aside and I'll show you guys me and my fiance's overall portfolios, and then we'll do a dive inside the stocks, kind of take a peek at the stocks, and then we're going to look at the total return and kind of compare some of the different things. So lots of stuff to cover. It's going to be a bit of a deeper dive than usual today because it is going to be the end of the month, and like a lot of things have kind of happened already for the first month of 2023. So first things first, we see our portfolio value up here. It's kind of been going up and down today. So by the time you see this video, I don't know what it's going to be at, but it is about 12 p.m. Friday afternoon. We have $118,000. So if you guys watched the previous video, this actually went up quite a bit. I have been depositing a lot of money, but also the markets have been kind of trending upwards quite a bit the past little while, and we'll kind of dive in and I'll show you guys. So the first thing is the TFSA, and we're so close to getting the TFSA to $100,000. It's been a huge goal for me. TFSA is at about almost $99,000, which is huge for me. 100K TFSA is kind of like a dream, right? It's something everybody wants, and it's super cool. So we're almost there. We're kind of getting there. We should hit there pretty soon. But the TFSA is a mixture of US stocks and Canadian stocks, mostly growth stocks, but big focus on US markets. So the 1 day return for the TFSA is up 1%, so that's about $600. The 1 week return is up about 2%, so we saw a bit of an increase over the past week or so. That's about $1,700. 1 month return is up 7%, so lots of growth in the last month. That's about $6,700. 3 month return is about, once again, sitting around that 7%. We can kind of see like when things started to really go up, and that was at the start of the year, right? Which I kind of expected to possibly happen because sometimes that kind of happens, and it's interesting to see what's going to happen. But like I mention all the time, I'm a big fan of putting money in the market and holding the market because you never know when the stock market's going to go up. And a lot of people were saying that things were going to not be good in the new year, and then we see things actually go up a fair bit. So I don't know. I'm always just a big fan of putting the money in the markets because you never know what's going to happen. So the 1 year return is down -1%, so we're sitting at about even for there, but the all-time return is about 13%, so lots of growth coming. Once again, a lot of that coming, just you can see on the graph here on the side here, just really started at the start of January. And if you didn't have your money in the market, you wouldn't have got a 7% return. And again, now things could change, it could go back down, it could stay the same, it could even go more up, but you wouldn't have got that 7% return, which in my TFSA, just my TFSA is equivalent to almost $7,000 if you didn't have your money in the market. So just something to think about. Checking out the personal account, which is one I'm currently holding. I might be moving the personal account into the TFSA, or I might move it into my fiance's TFSA. We're kind of working on that right now, but it is more dividend focused, Canadian stock focused, just to kind of get dividends, which are very tax efficient. The all-time return for the personal account is about 5%. So it is growing, and it's about $800. Once again, it is a newer account, but it is more Canadian dollars focused. And we'll jump inside track your dividends so we can see a summary of all of our portfolios together. Oh, Track Your Dividends is basically a portfolio tracker that I use to basically track our portfolios. So we have a couple different portfolios here. You guys just see my Wealth Super Traded portfolios. Those are just my own personal portfolios, or at least most of them. So I do have another portfolio that you guys that actually is with my employer. It's a small portfolio. It's about a couple $100, which holds a Loblaw stock. It's one of the Canadian stocks, growth stocks, that I'm a big fan of, and I do work for the company, so I do get an employer match for that. So that's a small little portfolio on the side. It's not really big right now, but obviously over time it's going to grow. So that's about, I don't know, $600-700. We have our personal account from Wealth Simple Trade. We have my TFSA from Wealth Simple Trade, and then we have my fiance's TFSA as well, which is about $11,000. And hers is just really basic, just basic ETFs that I kind of hold. So she has a very simple approach, but all those together basically bring us up to be about $130,000. So that's our overall net worth when it comes to portfolios. And you guys can see how, like even just a small portfolio like $12,000, which is my fiance's, that helps add things together. And if you guys work together, you can get there a lot quicker. So the big bird's eye view, big picture is that we actually have $130,000 saved up together. And once again, the past couple weeks or past month or so, we've seen quite a significant increase, especially if you watch my older videos, just because of the market kind of trending upwards and getting those dividends and reinvesting them on a regular basis. So the first thing we're going to take a peek at in our portfolio deep dive is going to be the overall stock appreciation or stock growth of basically our holdings, and I'll give you guys a quick little deep dive here. Once again, if you want to do your own look, if you want to kind of do this at your own pace and see my entire portfolio, check out the link for Blossom Social. Go on there, check out my portfolio, and you guys can see all my holdings and kind of view it anytime you want. So if you guys want to really kind of look at the numbers more deeper, or you kind of want to do it at your own time, or if you want to do it at a time when you're not watching this video, you guys can do that. So check that out as well. So the first thing I'm going to focus on is the growth of the companies. This isn't the total return. We will cover the total return after doing this part, so you guys can see the difference between the two. So this is just the stock growth. This is just one aspect of the returns, or the way you can make money in the stock market. So the first stock is Loblaw, right? I've been holding this for about 6-7 months or so. We're kind of sitting about even, not too much going there for stock growth. Going into the Wealth Simple Trade account, we'll kind of dive into the TFSA first, and then we'll go inside the personal account. And there's a lot of overlap here, guys, so just so you know. And again, the TFSA is an older account, so we should see bigger returns, but it really kind of depends on what the stocks are doing, kind of thing. But there is a lot of overlap. So we have $290 today. I'm going to be putting this into some ETFs or whatever. It's not a big deal. Nothing too crazy. It'll be the same thing as usual. So AQN, we have Algonquin Powers and Utility. That's going to be the first stock. Obviously, for stock appreciation is down 40%, which is quite a bit. We all kind of know it took a big dive. So I do have a holding of that, and I have been buying it on a regular basis, kind of $50 here, maybe a little bit here, because I do believe it's a great time to buy the company. And I think potentially long term it could be a good investment. But once again, it's up to you guys to decide. Next up we have is ATD, which has about a 15% or so stock growth. ATD has been pretty good for me. We have a lot of growth stocks like CNR, and then we have some regular dividend ones like Fortis. We have the covered calls here, which are more focused on dividend yield. So once again, these are actually doing quite well. Like HDIV has done actually quite well last year. It is doing pretty good this year at the start of the year, up 5.27%. HYLD has recovered quite a bit actually. It was down quite a bit last year. It took a big dive with the US markets, but it is up about, down negative 9%, which sounds bad, but once again, when we look at the total return, you'll see that it's actually not doing too bad. And that's because, there has been a recovery at the start of this month. Severia Corp is a small stock I'm looking to sell probably once things kind of go up a little bit. And then we have some of the more staples here like TELUS. TELUS is my favorite. Telecom, they're a good dividend growth company. And then TD is my favorite bank, and I think a lot of people are fans of TD. It is one of the most popular stocks, and it is one of the most popular bank stocks for good reason. It's been a really, really good company, about 26% return just in stock growth. Doing really well. And then VDY is up 14%, and then VFE is finally in the green here, since it did jump up here about 2.47%, but it had a rough year, so just kind of keep that in mind. Going to the personal account, and one thing I also want to mention is depending on when you bought the stocks, obviously everybody's is going to be different, so that's important to consider as well. So if you want to look at these stocks individually yourself, check out a graph on Google and kind of look at the all-time return, because that'll give you a better idea of really what's going on, because everybody's portfolio is going to show different things depending on when you bought them, right? So inside the personal account, we have AQN again, a little bit of that. I've been buying ATD again. CNQ is a newer one, Canadian National Resources. This is a dividend stock. It's done quite well. So growth is about 9.38%. We have CNR again, Canadian Tire. This is another
a growth-based or dividend-based company, I should say, up about 2.15%. HDIV and HYLD. Manulife is about 4.56% in growth. Power Corporation of Canada. I'm a big fan of financials, as you can see. I kind of use Canadian markets to buy the dividend stocks, and a lot of the good dividend stocks in Canada happen to be financial stocks, but there are other ones, but most of them are financials in my own personal opinion. Power Corporation is one of those companies, down negative 5%. We have TELUS again, TD, and then VDY and VFV as well. So that's the stock growth and the stock appreciation. We're going to jump inside Wealthica, and we'll kind of look at the total return so you guys can see how the actual total return of these stocks are. Alright guys, so we're going to be doing a quick little total return of all the stocks inside my portfolio. Once again, this is just my portfolio. This channel, we kind of focus more on my stuff because it's easier for me to track my stuff. And this is going to just be the Wealth Simple Trade portfolios. Unfortunately, I can't link anything else here, and Wealth Account only lets you link one account, so I can't really put all of our accounts together. So this is just my portfolio, my Wealth Simple Trade ones I did at the start of the video. This is what this is. And this is basically taking the two accounts, putting them together and getting a total return off of kind of average, if you want to kind of think about it that way. And here we have the stocks on the side, left side. We have the revenue, which is the distribution, so the total dividend yields. So we can see the total dividend yields that these funds have paid us across all of our accounts. And then we can see the total gain here as well. So this is the total, you know, stock growth that we showed you guys earlier. And then this is the total, and percentage wise, if you kind of add the two together, you get this, right? So VFE right now, we have a distribution dividend of $1,000 we received, total gain of about $2,000 in stock growth. Sorry, kind of confusing this here. Total gain of about $2,378 plus the stock growth, and that equals about 4.28%. And the stock growth here is on the right side. So hope I didn't confuse you guys here, but this is distribution, this is total gain in a dollar value, and this is total gain in a percentage. So total gain is stock price growth plus revenue or distribution. You know, and for a lot of dividend stocks, you have to factor in the distributions, because a fund like VDY, you know, we have a $2,000 in dividend yields. You know, that's a huge percentage of the return. $6,000, $268 in total return, 20%, right? HYLD is another example where we actually have about $357 in dividend yield. You had to factor that into the return, right? So if we're down negative $800 in stock price, we add that $357 to that, and we're only down about $400, which is about 6%. So instead of being about negative 12%, we go down negative 6%. So it changes your return quite a bit. TD, our biggest bank stock, my most favorite bank stock, we have a total return of 25%, sorry, which is actually, I think, one of my highest stocks right now. ATD is about 16%. TELUS here is 8%. AQN is kind of interesting. I've been trying to dollar cost average into this on a regular basis to help bring it up. And I do think it's going to recover. It's just a matter of time, and we get those dividend yields and we put it back in. It's still a pretty good dividend stock right now. We're about down negative 38% in stock growth, but with the dividends reinvested, we're about negative 32. So I think we can help bring that back up. It's just going to take some time. CNR about 8% total growth. HDIV is about 6.45 total growth, total return. Manulife is 17.94. Very interesting, right? Actually, has been one of my better stocks, surprisingly. That one always surprises me. But I bought a lot of Manulife during the dips and stuff like that, and they have increased their dividends quite a bit. And then we got those dividends to reinvest, right? So it really does bump up the return. Fortis is about 4.57. POW is sitting on 0%, which is kind of nice. It did see a bit of a jump up. Sphere Corp is 4%. CNQ is 16%. So actually, CNQ has been a pretty good earner for me. Once again, lots of dividend increases, lots of growth for this company, and they have a pretty high dividend yield. And then Canadian Tire is 2.55%. So once again, you know, you guys can kind of look at the stock growth here and kind of compare it to the total return. But it is, I always like to show beginners this screen because it just gives you a better idea what the total return of your portfolio is. And that's really, at the end of the day, the only thing that matters. Next up, I'll show you guys the dividend income for January. It's been a pretty big month. In fact, I think this is our best month overall. We hit $522, so that's a new record on the portfolio. The previous big month that we had was in October. We hit $515, so this month was a little bit more than that, but a big new record. You know, always setting records on this portfolio. And by the way, if I didn't mention earlier in the video, the $118,000 we had, that's a new record high for the portfolio as well. So we're busting a lot of records in today's video, and it's just slowly getting there kind of thing. But $522 in dividends is pretty sweet, and that's across me and my fiance's, our whole entire portfolio, right? I haven't punched in the details here, and I haven't also punched in February dividends, but I don't think we really had anything yet other than maybe the odd one here and there. And looking at our dividend screen on Wealthsimple Trade, we can see that we did get a dividend in from POW in February 1st. So that's $8. We'll have to add one of that to the sheet. But the ones for January, we'll just cover really quickly here. So we'll scroll up to the top here. So we got some nice good dividends from TD towards the end of the month. And then some other ones here. So there's Algonquin Utilities as well, giving us a pretty good dividend to help out that over return. We have the covered calls giving us some pretty good high dividends to reinvest those and do whatever you want. And then we got our big ETF dividends as well from VFE as well as VDY. So that's been pretty sweet. And that really helped out our return for January. That's why it's such a big month, because, you know, we got those big quarterly payment dividends and stuff like that. So February should be a little bit of a less month, but nonetheless, we're just keep investing that money, keep reinvesting those dividends. And it's super cool to get these little paychecks, right? You don't get $9 today. You know, we got $37. It doesn't sound like a lot, but when you add them up together, as well as some of the bigger ones, like, you know, $200, it starts to really compound and grow, and that's where the dividend income really grows. So just wanted to give you guys a quick update on that, and I will update my sheet later on, and I'll punch it in so when I do my next video, you guys can see all the numbers in there. So just in the video here, we'll do a quick little recap on some of the dividend increases. Actually, towards the end of the year, the beginning of the year, there's a lot of dividend increases, so I'm just going to cover these really quickly. Maybe at some point in time, I'll make a spreadsheet in my next video, and I'll document them all so you guys can see. I know I did that last time a little while ago, it was a couple months ago, and it was kind of really helpful to see and get a bird's eye picture. But dividend increases are big because if it's a dividend growth-based company, you're going to get those dividend increases, which are going to allow you to just basically buy more shares, increase your total return. And for a growth-based company, it really helps to increase that overall return. And if it's a dividend stock, it'll increase your yield. And if it's a high dividend stock, you'll just get more money, right, for not doing anything. So dividend increases are always a good thing. And depending on the stock, it's going to kind of give you a bit of a different goal. So the first stock we'll talk about, I just kind of basically open tabs on Dividend History, which is a cool website where you can track things. Basically just going over the dividend increases that happened for kind of over the past couple months or towards the end of the year. So ATD is a growth-based company, so its dividend increases dividend by 27%, almost 30%. So just by holding the stock, whatever dividend income you got a 30% increase. That's absolutely nuts. So again, and that's not going to give you a lot of money, but that's going to go back into your total return and really add a lot over time and compound and grow. So it really helps out. It's going to, you know, really add to that total return. So that's absolutely nuts. It's absolutely crazy. Not all of our stocks are going to be like that. Next up we have is CNR, Canadian National Railway. We see an 8% dividend increase in 2023. So, I mean, 2023, so that would have been in March. So it looks like they just announced this. So 8% dividend increase. And then last year in March, they got a 19% dividend increase. So some of these growth ones you guys can see really can pump up those dividends. And again, you're not going to get a high yield from them, but when it comes to the overall return and taking those dividends and reinvesting them back in the company, it's really going to get some nice growth there. So, you know, these companies really do well with that. The third one is going to be Fortis. So Fortis is more of a dividend-based company. It's more of a conservative-based company. They also get a lot of growth as well. So not as many dividend increases. This is more like your kind of safer kind of dividend stock. 6% increase. So not a big one, but keep in mind they get a lot of growth and they do have a pretty good, well-established yield. So 6% increase for 2022. I don't think anything announced yet. But this actually I should say, yeah, they announced theirs at the end of the year, so that's a 6%, so not as big, but pretty consistent dividend. Next up we have is HDIV, or covered calls, actually increased their dividend in 2023. So that would have been, I guess, the ex-dividend day would have been actually not too long ago. So that's next month, I think. For February, we're going to see an 8% dividend increase. So that's pretty cool for a covered call ETF. You know, they have a yield of about 9%. So an 8% increase is almost a whole percentage point. When you think about it, it's pretty good. So that's really going to help out the covered call. And we can see even in 2022, they had a nice little dividend increase of 6%. So covered calls are kind of interesting. At least ones that have potential to increase their dividends. Going to have to keep an eye out for that. Next up we have is Severia Corp. Severia Corp, we'll kind of take a peek here. I don't think we've seen too many big dividend increases. This isn't a company I'm really following. I'm just kind of holding it to eventually sell. But in 2021, we've seen a 4% dividend increase, and then 2022 a 4%. So nothing too crazy. Yeah, I'm not going to pay too much attention to them because this is a stock I want to get rid of. But I figured, hey, we might as well kind of keep track of it. Anyways, going on to the next one, we have TELUS. So TELUS is actually kind of funny because they introduced they're like increasing their dividend every single time they pay one, which is kind of funny, right? So in 2021 we have a 6-7% increase plus another 1.61%, so that would have been like 8% increase for the year. In 2022, which was last year, we've seen a 3.5 and then a 3.42, which is about 7%, and then this year already they just announced a 3.69. So they're kind of, what they do is every quarter they like kind of bump it up a little bit. So that's a little bit different what other companies do, but you kind of add it up and it's pretty decent dividend increases. So that's kind of interesting there. Going down is TD. TD just announced its dividend increase about 8%. This just happened not too long ago. So again, a lot of these companies kind of wait to the end of the year and then they announce them. And then in last year we got a 12% dividend increase. So again, guys, you know, like you buy the stocks, you hold it, you get a 12% extra income for doing nothing. You know, if you compare it to a job you work, most jobs will pay you like a 2 or 5% pay increase if you even get one at all per year. Maybe obviously some jobs are better than others, but you know, just by holding the stock, you get a 12% dividend increase. Like that's absolutely crazy. You know, over the course of 2 years, you increased your dividends by about 20% increase in dividend income, which isn't a lot. I mean, obviously it depends on how much you have invested, but just the idea of growing your income by 20% and you literally don't have to do anything, pretty sweet. Next up we have is CNQ, one of our better stocks here. Tons of dividend increases for this company. Actually pretty nuts. They have a very, very low payout ratio as well, which is absolutely crazy. Like, look at these guys. 2022, 25% dividend increase, and 2022 again, 27% dividend increase, special dividend, and then in 2023 they just announced another 13%. So that's, you know, when you look at my portfolio and you see a lot of the stock growth and then the big jump up for the revenue, this is these companies that increase their dividends. That's where you get that big jump up. And then again, you'll see Manulife. That's exactly the reason why. Canadian Tire dividend increases were pretty significant for this year. Although I don't know, I didn't buy the stock a lot, and I want to build it over time, so I actually don't hold a lot of shares. But they actually have a pretty solid dividend increase. 2022, 10%, and then another 25% increase, and then 6% announced. So that's within about 2 years, about a 40% dividend increase. That's pretty crazy, and they have a pretty high yield, about 4.21%. So, you know, this is a stock I'm going to actually look at as a dividend investor. Could be pretty solid, but I'm kind of slowly building my portfolio in this one, so I don't think we really took much advantage of that, but still, you know, it's going to benefit us. And then Manulife, again, you know, I talked about before how I bought Manulife in 2020, you know, kind of during the dips and stuff, and they've just been bumping their dividends up like crazy. You know, this isn't a growth-based company per se, but when you look at the dividend, you know, you look at the 4 to 5% yield it already has, and then these dividend increases, that's when you get the total return. And a lot of people don't realize this. 2020, you know, we see a 12% dividend increase, sweet, and then we got a special dividend. You got a double dividend at the end of the year, and then in 2022 we've seen an 18% dividend increase. Nothing announced yet, it looks like, but it looks like they announced it in February of last year. So we'll kind of, I guess we'll have to keep our eyes open for that to come over the next month or two. But man, 18% dividend increase is absolutely nuts for a company that already has a strong dividend yield. So that's that again, guys. I hope I'm showing you guys some cool stuff here to look at this kind of stuff. Power Corporation of Canada, it's a very high yield dividend stock at about 5.5. 2021 we see a dividend increases, nothing too crazy from them, so they're kind of, but they had a bit of a bad year. You know, they've kind of haven't had I wouldn't say a bad year, but they kind of their last year wasn't as good, so it makes sense. And they do have a pretty high dividend, so they might be kind of doing a more conservative play, so nothing from them. But once again, 2022 we still seen a 10% increase, which is still pretty solid. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. That's pretty good actually when you think about it. And then they haven't announced it yet, which they might soon. So we'll have to wait and see for them. Some of these companies still haven't announced dividends, but you know, tons of dividend increases this year. All of our stocks have been compounding, growing. So I just wanted to show you guys that because it always feels good to know that you're getting increases in your income for literally doing nothing.
Alright guys, so that's the end of today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like usual, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I have been pretty busy lately, so I do apologize if I haven't been as active on the YouTube channel. I haven't been as active in the comment section, and I haven't been as active on different apps that I use like Blossom Social. I've just been really busy with things. So even just doing these videos kind of on a weekly basis is pretty hard to do right now. So I've just been kind of a busy point in my life, but everything's good, everything's fine. There's no need to worry. I'm kind of trying to get back in the swing of things, but it's just been really, really busy. So I do apologize for that, and I'm trying to kind of focus more on that as time goes on. But for the next little while, I'd say the next couple weeks, the next couple months or so, it's probably going to be more or less busier. So my main focus right now is just at least publishing content. If I can get the content published, and you know, I feel pretty good about that. So that's kind of where my focus is right now. But hopefully, you know, going the next couple months, we can kind of get back into the swing of things. So if you guys leave comments and I haven't been really responding too much to them, it's not because I don't care or anything like that. I'm just really, really busy right now, and I have limited attention and limited mental energy to kind of focus on things. So my main focus is getting these videos out, being consistent, and you guys can benefit from that. So anyways guys, that's the end here. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Take care, have yourself a good one, and I'll see you guys later.